Okay, we're live here. A few minutes late, but Cara was very, very busy, and something was that she didn't know was going to go so long. So, what were you working on?
E for all.
E for all.
Yeah, mentoring.
What is E for all?
Just mentoring a new prospective business owner in the community. So I'm super excited about it. It took a little longer than,
You are.
well, actually, I shouldn't say it took a little longer. It was that I got the time wrong when you asked me when it would be over.
So we just got in the door here
Yeah.
and just pushed. Here we go. We're live. We're live. So welcome everyone, and we do have a free Soma aroma candle for one of our lucky winners who comments during the live show. And as we have in the description, also we're giving out free season tickets to the Pittsfield Suns for the 2024 season. Uh, that's a joke. I'm waiting for you to. I mean, come on.
It's funny, but it's not funny at the same time.
Well, it's not funny.
Uh,
It's very sad. That's very sad. We love the Suns.
yes, the kids look so forward to that
Yeah,
in the summer. They love it, all of them.
it was very disappointing to hear the Suns were not coming back. And people have asked me about it and said, "Well, what do you think about it?" But I do know that there was a meeting between the mayor and the Pittsfield Suns management, and the result of that meeting was, "Hey, we're going to take a pause from this season." And for me, that's not acceptable. You don't let that meeting go and have the Suns be able to walk away and say, you know what, we're going to take a pause. The mayor should at least be saying, hell no, over my dead body.
Hmm.
The Suns are we're going to figure out a way for them to play this year. So anyway, that's
Baseball's a big part of this
it's a
community.
huge part of this community, and we're the home of baseball.
Yeah.
And so if you had to say, hey, look, we're going to figure out a way for the Suns to play at Taconic High School, and we're going to bring in the concessions, and we're going to put the bleachers on the hill, and we have the locker rooms at the school. I don't care what you have to do, you got to make it work. You don't
Creativity. Creativity,
creativity.
baby.
You don't just let the Suns
Yeah.
disappear
Nope.
for the season. That's not okay. That's not okay. So anyway, we so we have an open show tonight. So feel free to share your comments, your questions for our first 6 weeks of the blend. We've had
Yeah.
a hell of
That's a
a
lot of
run.
shows so far.
We've
Sick.
we've been pumping them out.
Yeah, we have been.
What
It's fun.
was your favorite one?
Oh, I don't know.
It's like
I mean,
picking between your
yeah,
kids, you know. I mean,
all of them.
they're all very good.
Yeah.
A lot of great guests.
Yeah.
Soma was fun on the
Yeah.
first one. We had Erica Nolan coming on, Chantel, and Haley Strappy last week, and George
Yeah.
Shoemaker. That was a big hit.
Yep.
Again, we wish him the very best.
Yes, and I just read he had a post on Facebook 41 minutes ago asking if anyone would like to help for a bag of coffee or some pizza. They're moving and the truck is coming on Tuesday.
You're gonna be
So,
paid in coffee.
yeah.
You're gonna be paid in coffee. So there you have it. So anyone who comments here on the live show is in the running for a Soma candle. And in all seriousness, we wish the Suns were playing, and we hope that I did. During the election cycle, I talked to Jeff Goldklang, who is in the management, and he was really excited to talk to the city about Wahconah Park, and not only how Wahconah Park can benefit the Pittsfield Suns, but this is what we talked about during the campaign was how do you make Wahconah Park a piece of the draw for all of Berkshire County? So you're not just talking about a baseball facility. It's all about having more
Yeah.
concerts. I mean, look at what Tanglewood has done. Look at what other facilities have done, not only in the Berkshires, but SPAC
Outdoor concert
outdoor
venues.
concert venues.
Yeah, it's spectacular in the summer, and that would be amazing if uh, we could have something at Wacona Park like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And we
sure.
and you remember when we had Bob Dylan
Hmm.
and Willie Nelson.
Hmm.
That was what,
Yeah.
2005 or so. That was before Brulees,
Yes, that was before, about 4 years before Brulee's.
but that brought tens of thousands of people to the city. 10,000 people at Wacona Park, and then all the additional people beyond that. So Anyhow, Deb Carterella says, "Hi guys, hey Deb." So
Hey,
Deb is in the
Deb.
running for a Soma candle and also some other prizes. I have to say, Denise Duquette won the $25 gift certificate to Tavern at the A.
Congratulations.
That was nice, and she loves the tavern, so
Yeah.
so that was a good thing. Okay, so we have some questions. We have some questions from viewers that have
Yes.
come in, and we haven't gotten to them because we've had all our guests. But one of the one of the things that came in because this is the blend, okay? So we're all you people out there who are going through Splitsville or working through that and co-parenting and all the rest. So we had a question, and I had to read this one. Is a diamond engagement ring the wife's property or a marital asset? And so you know what that means. That means like if it's a marital asset, that means you got to split it, quote unquote, with all the rest of the assets. So anyway, I've got some experience in this, but what do you know about that?
Yeah, I mean, what I know of it, I mean, just because I was divorced and I felt like this is just my personal opinion. I gave the ring back. Um, it was a family heirloom, so it was definitely not mine to keep. So I gave the ring back. Um, but I do think, depending on the cost of the ring, I mean, sometimes they can be super expensive,
Well,
and I think it is a marital asset at some point.
Well, that's a good point. So if it was a heirloom from the family and it came from the great grandmother or the grandmother, and then maybe it was retrofit then all of a sudden, okay, well, is that really a marital asset? That's really maybe
Yeah, in my case,
the
I didn't
husband's.
see it as one.
Yeah.
It was a family heirloom. However, if it's not a family heirloom, depending on the cost of the ring.
Yeah, but if you went to a jeweler and bought a ring for like 20 or 30 or $40,000 or something
Yeah.
like that, or even just say $3,000, four,
Hmm.
$5,000, that sort of thing, then it's worth a certain amount of money. So is that a marital asset? And then, so you would be shocked, and this is true, you'd be shocked on how many uh splitting wives, ex-wives suddenly lose the engagement
I
ring.
know. That's insane.
You have no idea. Like,
Ugh,
you don't lose diamond rings. You
no.
don't, but you know,
Suddenly.
but suddenly,
Unbelievable.
just oh, we lost it. I lost it. I don't know. We have no idea. So, so that is a common thing. So, anyway, so if
Yeah,
that,
weigh in on that,
what
guys.
do you?
What do you think? What do you think? Marital asset or not?
Jocelyn Moody says Wahconah Park has so much history. One of the last parks with wooden seats still. One of the two parks that home plate is facing toward the sun. Also, cannot forget at one point they were the Red Sox or White Sox. No, it was Red Sox. So much major history. I hope we never lose it completely. And I agree with that, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, it was the Pittsfield Cubs was my team and the team that I grew up when I was 8, 9 years old, and it was Rafael Palmeiro and Gary Varsho and Greg Maddox and all those players that we remember. And then it became the Pittsfield Mets.
Yeah.
And they had some great teams in single A ball. And my mom weighs in. Such wonderful visions you've always had. Oh, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, the vision being Wahconah Park
And you
more
know
than
what
just
was
baseball.
fun too were the years of the colonials.
Mhm.
When
Yeah,
that was super fun.
that was better than the Black Bears.
I remember that.
I do remember the Colonials, and
Yeah.
I think the Colonials were very underrated as
Yes.
far as a team. They did put a good experience on there. Buddy Lewis was the owner of the team, and yeah, it wasn't a perfect deal. And also, when they made it to the championship series, they moved that whole series to Canada because they drew more people in, I think it was Montreal or wherever the other team played, because we couldn't draw enough people in Pittsfield, unfortunately. So, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
But the Colonials, I do remember the Colonials. I
Yeah.
liked I liked
They had
those teams.
swag, the whole 9 yards. They would come into our restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And well, that's good. That's why you remember them.
That's why. Yeah.
And they paid the bill. Jessica Hall says, I got the ring and I pawned it. I didn't even ask his opinion at the time. But I do think it depends on the
It
circumstances
does.
of the
Yeah.
split.
Yeah,
Okay,
it does.
okay. So there, there's the woman's perspective. From the male perspective, maybe doing that. Yeah, anyway. So okay, so Trish Descanio, another mom weighs in. I too would give the ring back. I too.
Yes.
Very negative energy to keep. It's a
Yeah.
diamond. They aren't rare. Truly overrated. Just give it back. Okay. Okay.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. I mean, are diamonds actually really that rare? I think that's a misnomer. Diamonds are actually not even that rare.
It's a what do you call it? It's kind of just a man-made market. That's how I've always felt. I mean, I love sparkly things though. I love sparkly things, but I was never a real big fan of diamonds.
No,
Yeah.
no. But I got you a nice diamond
You
though.
did.
I
You
did.
did. You
Okay.
did well.
Okay.
You
So
definitely did.
yeah, I still.
I'm very appreciative.
I mean, you still gotta do the thing.
Yeah.
You gotta do the thing. And Dino Zabian,
Yes.
exceptional guy. So we talk
Dino
about
Zabian
we
is exceptional.
we talk about jewelry on the show quite a bit, Park Lane, and that's costume jewelry. But when you got to do it and you do it right,
Hmm.
Dino's one of those guys, and he knows it. He's good at what he does. Jessica Hall says, "Me too, Cara. Love the sparkle." Okay.
Yeah.
And so Jocelyn says, in some state, wow, you got this down, Jocelyn. Jocelyn says, in some states, legally, if you propose during a holiday or birthday, uh-oh,
It's a gift.
there you go. So this is a lesson for men. Listen up. If you have not gotten engaged yet and there's no prenup, in some states, legally, if you propose during a holiday or birthday, then if it comes to court, the woman has a higher chance of keeping it because it's a gift. Great excuse to make your engagement your own personal holiday. That's right.
Yeah.
So if you give the gift on, say, Valentine's Day,
Hmm.
then the woman
Yeah.
can argue that no, it was a Valentine's gift. This isn't an engagement ring. So, or for Christmas or for your birthday,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So when did I propose to you?
It
Oh,
was my
it
birthday
was on your birthday.
weekend. Yeah, was it on
No, it was on your
September
birthday.
5th?
It was on your
Yeah, I
birthday.
was nervous. You were nervous too. Super
Yeah, I was
nervous.
nervous. I was carrying it around all weekend.
I know, and I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice.
Yep. So
Yeah.
I did. I had it in my pocket the whole time, and I was a little concerned that you were going to find it, and then I was trying to find the right spot, and I wasn't sure. I wanted to bring you to the Nubble in York to do it, and it just wasn't
It was
happening.
just too many cars, too many people around. But I do remember thinking, what is going on? Because John loves to take pictures when we
Mm.
go anywhere, and he wasn't taking any pictures. And I was like, why isn't he taking any pictures? He was just, it was the weirdest thing. I had no idea.
And at the
He was
restaurant,
nervous.
we were at a restaurant, and that was near the ocean. And during that time, it was so windy. It was
Mhm.
so windy. So I was like, if I propose to her out there, we're all going to get blown away. So finally, it went to the gazebo on Shore Sands,
Yeah.
on York Beach.
We were looking for a cafe to get a tea or a coffee or something, but nothing was open.
Hmm.
And uh and then John was like, "Let's take a walk." And I was like, "Okay."
Yep, you got it. You got it. Oh my gosh.
That was amazing.
So Jocelyn says, send me to Jeopardy. I have all the useless knowledge. No, well, it may or may not be useless knowledge.
Yeah.
And my mom says, since diamonds are a girl's best friend, isn't it sad losing a good friend like that? So Car and I were talking the other day, and there we've had this discussion because in November was the election, and we ran a hell of a campaign. And by the way, I want to say that there's a dear friend of ours who was a big supporter of ours who's moving to Florida,
Yes.
and all we had many wonderful photos during the campaign, and a lot of wonderful anecdotes, and you can go out on Facebook and everywhere and see all those great photos from the campaign. But there's one photo uh with Joe Diaz. And Joe, a lot of people may know him. He works at Greylock Federal Credit Union on Elm Street. And if you know his office space, it's all filled with Star Wars memorabilia. So it's really, very, very, iconic. But he had the most iconic photo of
That was awesome.
this was for the prelim on September 19th, and there he was at Ward 5. And so he made that shirt. And that was not an official shirt, which makes it even more awesome.
Yeah. I
So
remember that.
yeah.
That was awesome.
The epic Joe Diaz photo there. And what I really love is the guy sitting behind there reading the newspaper. So it's like you have Epic in front and reading the newspaper and back. So maybe that's a good testament to. But that was fun.
Yeah,
That was fun.
so fun.
It was
But
a
he's
good.
moving to Florida.
It's sad. It's
Yeah.
sad. And we were actually going to have him on the podcast, but then he left.
Yeah.
He's already gone.
Hmm.
So I went to Greylock on Elm Street the other day, and his whole space was clear. All the Star Wars memorabilia was gone.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um,
good luck in Florida.
good luck, Joe.
Yeah.
We love you, and he's been a often commenter on Psychic Sunday and on our show here. So we wish you the very best. But with that, over the last few days, we've been talking about it because we've been hearing some feedback, and I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell
Well,
me. You tell
so
me.
people ask me all the time, how's John doing? How's John doing? And so John's doing great, And so I was sort of like, John, I think I think you need to let people know what you're up to because we have been so busy. I've been teaching full time every day. John has been super busy during the daytime and then we kind of collaborate at night. Um and so with people coming to me just asking how John is because he hasn't really been seen as much. I mean, during
I mean,
campaign
we sort of
season,
we have a podcast.
well, right, right. But during
Yeah,
the campaign season, you
so
were
visible. Yeah.
you were so visible and you were like this ray of light, literally, and you gave people hope. And so I feel like a lot of the people coming to me are just like, how's he doing? What's going on? And people want to know, what are you up to? What are
Yeah.
you doing?
All right. And then, of course, my response was like, what do they care?
And I was like, John, you're still a public figure. Like that's
Yeah.
not going to end.
Yeah.
You're John Kroll. That's not going to end. You still care about this community, and you still have an amazing impact on people. So
Well,
yeah,
thank you. I
yes,
appreciate that, sweetheart. So yeah, so after that time, and Mike Ward says, "Hey guys, hey Mike." After that time, I got quiet and sat back to think about, okay, what is something that we can do that will be, the most impactful in our area of expertise. And I run a marketing agency. We do websites, we do branding, design work, and work with clients and all of that. And then a big component, and Jim Willis says, I know what you're doing. Jim, thanks, Jim. You tell me what I'm doing, Jim. And I look at that big picture and I say, especially when it comes to small business owners or really anyone who's interested in being an entrepreneur, what is one of the biggest hurdles that they need to jump over in order to be successful now in 2024? And we work with a lot of small business owners as a marketing agency, work with a lot of people who are interested in getting into their own businesses. And I think that great divide is really understanding how to do online sales. And
yes,
this is something that I think is kind of an enigma for a lot of people. You go on Facebook or you go on TikTok or you go on Instagram and you see all these people who are selling products. They're doing wonderfully and they're making, hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. And a lot of times you hear those big stories,
hmm,
about how this person made millions of dollars. Well, there's also a lot of people who are doing very well in making an extra $3,000 or $4,000 a month, or that sort of thing. So what we decided to do, and Cara and we've been working on this, is creating an online training for individuals who are interested in online marketing, and that especially includes small business owners. And so
Yes.
you were talking to a whole bunch of small business owners who are budding entrepreneurs in e-for-all.
Yes.
So that's one category. But there's also a lot of small business owners who have been in business for a long time who have never really utilized the
The internet,
the internet
social media.
in the way
Mhm.
that, and not just social media. I think, a lot of times people think, well, digital marketing, well, I'm on Facebook, so I'm okay. Well, that's only one piece of
Mhm.
the puzzle. And I think a lot of small businesses are also vulnerable to agencies coming in saying, oh, we do digital advertising and we'll take care of you. And, we're a piece of the newspaper or we're a piece of the radio station and we'll go and we'll handle everything. We'll build you a website. You only have to pay us $500 a month and we'll take care of you. That is something that also I'm not so sure is the best direction as well, because only you know how your business runs and you know what's best as far as messaging for your business. So that's what we've been working on. We've been
Yeah.
working on an online training process. We've been sharpening our agency as far as a digital marketing agency to make sure that, if we work with a client, those dollars are being spent as well as possible and super effective and doing great things. So, that's kind of where we're at. And we've been working really hard in creating the tools required to be super, super successful at this. So if you want to know what I've been doing,
Yes. So
in
busy.
sort of in the hermit stage of
So
creating
busy.
it,
Yeah.
like in tarot, there's a hermit card. You kind
Yeah.
of you go in for a little while and really work on your skills. And so that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. You've been doing great work. I can't wait. I can't wait to get it out there. It's amazing. I've been at this for, oh my gosh, when did I get involved with online marketing? 2012 when we closed the restaurant. And I loved being a business owner. I just didn't love all the overhead that we had in such a big space. The overhead was out of sight. So I took all my businesses online. And so that's been my wheelhouse for a long time before opening up Balance and Bliss Wellness. And so I just think you've been amazing at it. I come home from work and John's got some things done and it just blows my mind. He's so good at it.
Yeah, we'll create the funnel.
Yeah.
This is one of those things online. Create your first funnel. Well, okay, create your first funnel, but you have to create maybe three or four funnels for different products. And how do you create maybe an online digital product that can draw people to your website or to your own physical products that maybe you have as a brick and mortar,
Right. And it's all
for
about
example?
target marketing.
It
The
is.
funnel. It's all about target
and
marketing.
and that's the thing, because when we think of marketing, that's what you have the ability to do, is really drum it down and make sure every dollar that you spend is focused on that specific person who is more likely to follow that path and buy either your product, like I said, as a brick and mortar, like our friend Soma, who does
Yeah.
already a great job digital marketing on her
Yes.
products, and with an online store and that sort of thing. But also, people who want to create digital products,
Right.
ebooks or, other kinds of trainings. I mean, the training world, the online training world in the next few
Online
years
courses. I
is,
mean, the course that I'm offering, that
yeah,
the workshop at BCC, so many people have asked me, is that going to be offered online? Because I think there is a place for that. So the ebooks, the courses, the even the planners that you see, such a huge market for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. And I think it's estimated that within the next 3 or 4 years, it's going to be $1 trillion industry.
Hmm.
So if you have an expertise and you have an idea, and maybe you already have taught something, in the real world, like in
Yeah.
person in the past, you can turn that into a digital product, into an online training. Our agency can help, or you can be trained on that process, and that's what we're trying to create here. That's really an important step in this economy. It really is, and there's great opportunities for people. Maybe you have an expertise, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just want to get into this world. And those are the kinds of people we want to help. So Jocelyn Moody says, I think we need to start a fund to make John and Cara our king and queen. And that can be your first royal matter of business. Better than mayor anyways. Sounds cooler. Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Deborah Cardarella says, that's great, John. Thanks for updating us. Jim Willis says, I love the online trainings. Yes. Yes. And in full disclosure, we did an amazing training for Jim Willis at Tri-Town Health, and hopefully we'll be doing more of those as well. Dolores Aries says, I so agree. And I think that's really important. So, I think the accessibility of online trainings, and you are
It's
in
true.
person, and your writing Elixir course is very popular.
It is. I mean, the participants in the course right now, we're having a great time. I mean, we look forward to Wednesday nights. But I did have a few people message me and say, they had transportation issues, they wouldn't be able to get there. Will it ever be offered online? The answer is yes, it will be offered online very soon. I just finished it. I finished creating, well, the course is done, but then I had to turn it into an actual presentation, and now I just have to record myself teaching it. So it'll be available very soon. I'm excited.
Yeah, and Denise Marie says, "Hi everyone." And Denise, I hope you got that gift certificate for Tavern at the A. Great show last week with Haley Satrapi, and the $25 gift certificate to Tavern at the A. But as we're talking about, and Dolores says, "Count me in, keep me posted."
Yes.
When I look at businesses that there are two, you you really have to look at and try to expand on how we think about things, because often when we think about business, we think about the one with the nameplate on North Street, or the office here, and local customers. And I would challenge every business owner to look at their business and say, how do I expand this? How can I make this bigger? Even if there are people who walk into my store and buy things, and that's great, that's wonderful, the brick and mortar concept, or even a restaurant or a coffee shop. What are the ways that you can expand upon
Mhm.
that by using a digital marketplace?
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, I think about myself when I started in 2012, I actually started marketing skincare. And I did that in person for a little while. And it was really a tough market around here because people at that time were not interested in like wellness products like they are now. And so I would do a home party and I would talk about these natural, holistic products, and people were just like, does it get rid of wrinkles? Like, they just were not into that. And so I found out quickly that I had to take things online and I had to learn how to market online because I could reach people on a national level and I could actually sell more products that way. It was through a direct sales company. But I actually started to do really well once I took things online. And then after the skincare, I sold jewelry. Um, and I hosted the home parties with the jewelry. And then I realized, I don't know, COVID hit in 2020 and that company was not set up online at all. And I kept telling them, you need to set this up online. And they didn't. And then COVID hit and they were like, oh my gosh, Cara, how do we do this? And I left the company because I just did, I joined a new jewelry company that was, open-minded to the online world. And so I've been selling jewelry online. And can I do a home party? Sure, I could do that, but I prefer the online sales for that end of things. And then Balance and Bliss Wellness is an in-person space. However, I've been doing remote healings for years online, and I have clients all over the world for that. And I've been coaching. I've had coaching clients all over the world. So, if you're looking to expand your business, there's a big world out there.
It
So, yeah.
it really is. And I think um, one of the things that uh, we want to convey to people is that there are so many ways. I just read an article not too long ago. I think it was on MSNBC or CNBC or CNBC. And it said something along the lines of 50% of Gen Z have no interest whatsoever in working a 9 to 5 job. And there is no time, I think, that's more where that's more possible for people to basically say, hey, look, um, this is a possibility where legitimately we can stay away from the 9 to 5 and say, we're done with this because of the infrastructure, the way that people are buying things today. That if you're able to create a product or a series of products or services,
Hmm.
and some of that is just providing your services, and there are a lot of people who just work from home because they're able to provide their services online, whether it's copywriting or even consulting or that sort of thing. But
And being able to diversify, offering that in person, face to face, but also running things online, it's opens up doors,
yeah,
many more doors. So,
it does. So,
yeah.
so part of it is, maybe creating a product, or also there's things like affiliate marketing. So every once in a while, we'll bring up LifeWave, which
Yes.
is a product that,
And I was going to bring the patches with me tonight because we are going to give away some patches
oh, we
tonight.
are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we've been talking a lot about LifeWave light therapy patches, and John and I have we've been patching since a week before Christmas, and they've just been amazing. I mean, it's an energy boost, and I mean, not everybody feels the effects of the patches. It's definitely not like a magic pill, but
Close.
um, for us it
It's
has
like that.
been. For us it has been, but not everybody feels those effects right away. But over time you start to notice little things. Like I noticed my hair was getting darker, and so that's why I went
What
back.
happened?
So that's why I went back to my natural hair color because it was starting to get darker and it was growing faster. My fingernails are growing faster. I just was noticing these little things happening, and it's like, okay, it's got to be the patches, and lo and behold, it is. And we swear by them. So LifeWave light therapy patches, it's definitely necessary in the Northeast. We don't get a lot of sun around here. And a lot of us really shouldn't be out laying out in the sun. It's not really good for your skin. So the light therapy patches are super helpful. And we will be giving away a few patches to a lucky viewer.
Okay. So you got to hear officially from Cara there. We're gonna give it. I wasn't sure if we were doing that or not tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dolores says you are both so inspirational. So many people. Let's keep it going. Thank you so much, Dolores. And Denise says you amaze me, Cara. And she said she hasn't picked up the gift certificate yet. It's been a crazy week, but she's going to be doing that soon. So that is cool. And I think that's where we're at. So people wanted to know what am I up to. That is my hope to be able to help people. And really because there haven't been a lot of choices, especially for small business owners who are asking that question. If you talk to new business owners, especially, one of the first challenges that they have, because usually they're an expert in what they do.
Right.
So say you're a bookkeeper or you're an accountant or I don't know why I'm thinking of those but if you're a baker, if you're any that is your area of expertise. Generally speaking, marketing is not your area of expertise.
Right.
So if you're really passionate about what you do, you can spend a lot of energy and eventually kind of fall upon your markets that are going to connect. But it is a lot better if you're able to be strategic about it.
Mhm.
And so I think that's exactly where we're at as
And I
far as hitting that target.
also, John and I are able to kind of do that consulting work too as well. Like not just offer a product, but we can do the consulting work as well because we've both been through it.
Mm.
And I think a lot of times business owners really struggle to to target their market and to figure out where can I find my next client? How am I going to get people in the door? And sometimes when you try to advertise to everyone, you're throwing a lot of money out the door.
Right. So if you spend, and I'm not, but if you spend $2,000 on a billboard,
Right.
okay, so you spent $2,000 to hit thousands of people, driving by. Very few of those people are going to be your qualified buyer or client. Now, it will help with, and there's an old saying, no marketing is not valuable. There's
Right.
some value to it. So the question is, in a digital world, when you have specific people who are your sort of avatar, as it were. We heard
Mm-hmm.
that term today.
Yeah.
And you know who that is. If you can maximize that target to that type of person who is more likely to be your customer, then you as the business owner having that expertise, there's no one, and that's why I feel as though having people have the opportunity to learn that themselves, as opposed to, hey, listen, we'll be your consultant. Like Cara said, we'll be your, I'll be your consultant. We can work through that. We can target, we can create the funnels, we can create the website, we can create,
The
the landing
branding, all of it.
pages, all the brand, all we'll do it all. But there's something incredibly valuable as a business owner to be able to learn about those tools and the things that are there. And these tools are, it's not rocket
Well, I
science,
remember,
but there's a lot of people who have no idea where to begin.
I when we had the restaurant, we hired a friend. He built our website for free. Initially, he was a good friend of my ex-husband, and he did a great job, but he worked a full-time job. He didn't have time to update the website, everything like that. So I would have to contact him. We had bands every week, and I needed to update the website to reflect the entertainment, and it got to be really frustrating. So then we hired a web developer to kind of take over our website and all that. But then it was like the same thing. It was kind of like I had this vision and I felt out of control because I had no control of the website. I didn't know how to work it. So
Frustrating.
I taught myself
Yeah.
how to build websites. And it was so helpful. I mean, I not everybody is going to be interested in that,
Yeah.
obviously, but I've been building websites for a really long time.
Yeah.
However, I did not build using WordPress.
Yes.
That was a little challenging, but
So yeah, and as an agency, we always tell our clients that we are going to train you so at least you can update your site. So if there's
right.
ever if anyone says we're going to build you a website, but then you have to call us or message us every
Yeah,
time you're going to make a change, then that's not okay. That's not
it's
okay.
very
You
frustrating.
should be able to have control over your site. And Dolores says marketing is the most important thing in the community. People don't know that, but it is. You raise a really
It's
great point.
so true.
You raise a really great point. Boy, we could use a real shot in the arm, not only for our business owners, but for, I think, our marketing community. I mean, there's
Yes.
different agencies that are tasked to marketing the community. I think we could take a look at that. Denise says, "I need energy and light healing."
Yes. Come on in,
Healing,
Denise.
John. That's me. I don't know anything about the stuff. Old school. I am. She's old school. She says, but anyway, but well, Denise, yeah, and wonderful, wonderful, Denise. Yes, we'll bring you in,
Yeah.
Carl.
It's wonderful. The healing energy is
And one thing we didn't
wonderful.
talk about was you had a session with Soma,
Yes.
and I don't know if you had any photos from the session, but
Mm,
but tell.
Soma took a few photos after and she posted them. Yeah. But no, I mean I definitely she enjoyed it for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
There's nothing like energy work.
John gets energy work a lot.
More, yeah, more than more than the average person. And it is one of the best things you can possibly imagine. So couldn't recommend it any higher. Um, And Dolores says, I'm a very positive person. I do a lot of cooking and a lot of inspiration to people, but I believe marketing, like I said, is number one. So, and we believe the same thing because, I mean, there's the sizzle and the steak, right? So, a lot of times, people will make that analogy to say, okay, well, you have the sizzle, which, brings everyone in and it's exciting and everything, but you got to have the steak too. Um, and that's an old analogy, but without the sizzle,
Yeah, and I
no,
mean,
you're not going to enjoy the steak.
well, the whole thing too is when we had the restaurant, we were literally like we thought prime location, right on North Street, right on the corner, next to where Hot Harry's is. We were in that space. And we just saw everybody can see the sign. How can you miss the sign? It was humongous and it was lit up. But there were people that literally had no idea that we were there. And so it was marketing was a big part of it. And we struggled with that, trying to figure out, okay, where do we put the money? Well, how do we do this? The website, oh my gosh. And then trying to keep up with social media, it was a challenge for sure.
Mm,
And it was actually a challenge too to find people that really knew how to market effectively.
mm.
I think the only place where I really thought they had their stuff together was Groupon at the time.
At the time,
Yeah,
Groupon.
Groupon. It was amazing.
And why was that?
And the map people, the people that went around with those maps.
Hmm.
Those maps were great. The little, the maps I'm talking
Yeah,
about. The maps were great. Groupon was great.
because they brought business to you.
They did.
You can, because
Yeah.
everything is about measurement,
Hmm.
right? So, you can say, okay, I'm going to put an ad in the newspaper, but if there's no way to tie the effectiveness of that, then how can you even, first of all, how do you even measure it?
Right.
Never mind understand the value of it. So first you have to measure it to be able to predict whether it's worth doing or not. Which is one great thing about digital marketing
Right.
is that it's always very, very trackable. You can, track the clicks, you can track,
Hmm.
views, you can see people who have signed up for your newsletter,
Demographics.
demographic,
Yeah.
all these things. So that's really, really important. But the thing with those guys is they had to, from the very get-go, justify their value. So, putting the analytics into the picture, even though it's not a digital product per se,
Right.
Groupon it was,
Yeah.
but the yeah, I don't know about the maps, but I'm sure there was some digital component to it, but that was a big part of
Hmm.
their sell, so they had that on the front end.
Yeah. Those were my two favorites. That brought us a lot
That's
of
amazing.
business. Yeah. I do remember that.
you know,
Yeah.
and there were other things like putting, a coupon on the back of the Colonial
The
Theater
Colonial Theater.
ticket,
Yep.
that sort of thing. So, those things can be very valuable because those
Hmm.
are
Trackable.
qualified, and those are also qualified
Right.
leads,
Right.
for your business.
Yeah.
So, those are sometimes the things from a marketing perspective. It doesn't always have to be the big things. It can be like one really super effective, not necessarily an expensive thing, but one super effective thing that can really make your business to some extent.
Yeah. No, it's true.
It's true.
Took a long time to figure it out, but
It's true.
yeah.
It's true. Um, Gosh, what else do you want to talk about?
Um, did we have any more questions?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, well, I had one. Um, I didn't want to bring this one up, but someone said, "We hope you run for mayor again. Would you like to? Would you do that?" I'm like, hell no. No. That was one question that came up. But in all seriousness, I don't think I would run again unless I knew for a fact that it was going to be a clean election.
Yeah.
That's something that we've both agreed upon.
Yeah.
So unless
I
something
mean,
changes, to ensure us that that it's definitely going to be absolutely clean, and we know it for a fact, then I wouldn't do that.
yeah. And
We
I
we
mean,
went through a lot. We went through a lot.
we went through a lot. The family goes through a lot and but it was well worth it.
Yeah.
Well worth it.
Of course it was.
Yeah.
Of course it
We
was.
love this city.
We went through a journey. and it was magnificent. It really was. And there isn't, I mean, there are some parts that I wish I didn't have to go through. And you
But at
certainly,
some level, we knew going into it. It's not like anything was a shock.
oh
You
yeah,
go
yeah,
into it, you know how it's going to be
yeah.
and all of that, but there was just a couple unknowns.
Well, knowns that were unknown. In other
Unknowns
words,
that were unknown.
I mean, it wasn't, unknown. It was in the sense that, like, really, they're gonna do this?
Hmm.
They're gonna give me 45 minutes to respond. Is that what's gonna happen? So, Denise says it's so unfair. Well, it is sometimes. And Dolores says, you did, but I think it prepared in the future, prepared you for the future right now. I think we can win. Okay.
Yes,
So, but yeah, and Denise, oh come on, Denise, we love the city, we love the
we do.
city,
We do.
absolutely, and that's what our hope is because a lot of the things that we talked about during the campaign was really about marketing the city. So we talked about this quite a bit, and if you follow the campaign, you heard this many, many times. I look at Melissa Fawcett from Ready, Set, Play, and actually that just came up today. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, it was,
We were having a conversation
yeah.
today, and having more stuff
And she's
for
packed.
kids, and she's packed all the time.
Yeah.
But part of the reason why she's packed is because she's created a draw. And so a lot of times people look at the city and say, well, we don't have the demographic, or we don't have the population, or we don't have this, or we don't have that. But we do when we create things that are a draw from other locations. And I think
It would give people a reason to come here.
that's where the digital marketing is
Right.
really amazing because you can grow your market beyond Pittsfield, beyond Berkshire County by being really strategic in your products. So I think, so part of that conversation and part of what I'm doing now to help people and what our agency is doing and what we're
Hmm.
doing is helping them grow beyond Pittsfield, beyond the Berkshires, which ultimately helps
Brings
the community.
people
It brings
to
dollars here because if
Pittsfield
it
and the Berkshire
because if
County.
we can help business owners or entrepreneurs fill their pockets, they're going to be spending those dollars here.
Empowering entrepreneurs.
Jessica Hall
100%.
says it was great, even being a small part of it. I'm still disappointed in the way people behaved during it. You have been an amazing mayor. Well, Jessica, thank you so much. We love you, Jessica, and thank you for all your support. It'd be great to see a trampoline park to go into the old Bed Bath and Beyond. Yes.
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 Yeah.
And I always envision that whole area and with Melissa Fawcett and her husband, that whole area could be like a sort of
A fun hub,
a fun hub,
just like the
for
fun hub
families.
over in where is that? Hadley?
Oh yeah, over there. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And
All kinds of fun things.
and if you had a nice children's museum or
Yeah.
something like that, it could be amazing. And so I think if you have the vision to do that, those are the kinds of things and now ironically, the Yankee Candle, I guess they're closing in Deerfield. We went
Huh.
there this
Yeah.
and it's like this kind of little amazing place. I
Hmm.
mean, it's a little dated in the sense
It
that,
is.
but
Yeah.
it's still pretty cool and it still draws a lot of people. But I look at that and say, why don't we have something like that in the heart of the Berkshires?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
a Christmas village
Well, even the
or
skating
something like that.
rink.
Yeah,
I mean, where were we? Lee had one. Lee
Lee.
has that skating rink right in the
Oh,
center of
Lee.
town. I know.
Oh,
It's
Lee.
awesome. Yeah. So many things.
So
So
many
many things.
things, so many things that we could do. But so I think that's where we're at. And I do believe that I was surprised when Cara mentioned that to me. She said, people think what are you doing, John? What are
I
you
mean,
doing?
I know what he's been doing,
What
and
are
we
you
have been so busy, but everybody, whether they don't want to ask John directly or something, but people message me and they're like, "How's John?
like,
How's
what's
John?"
John doing? He's just shuffling along, like, does he even get up in the morning? Like, what's going on here? No, I'm good, and yeah, and I'm actually really, really excited
Yes.
about what we have going on because I that and for and I have to, as a owner of a marketing agency for a dozen years, that was always something that sort of perplexed me that I thought I was up to date with digital marketing and all the tools, but I feel like, especially if it's your expertise, you have to go back to school
Mhm.
time and time and time again. And so I think that's really something that I needed to do after this election to like really, sharpen my skills, personally, working with my people who, work with the agency, my web developer and my designer and all of that and putting it all together so we can actually do the very best. And by the way, we're while we're doing this, I do have clients I'm working with. I thought I was going to be able to step away from politics for a little while, but I'm actually on retainer doing some work for someone who's running for a very important seat
Yes,
here in Western Massachusetts. How this happened? Well, this is
because
because.
she knows you. You're amazing.
I get people elected.
Yes.
That's what the word is out there. So yeah, I'm not even done with politics, but not running for anything anytime soon, personally. But it's something that I guess is just in my blood. And so Dolores says, "No, you're not shuffling along. You're a leader. I only wish that you were our mayor. I think you can be the mayor shuffling a lot." I think that's what she meant to say. So anyhow, so there it is. And then you are a mentor for this E for All. And I don't know how many different new business owners are
I
there.
believe there are 12.
12.
12. I think I have that right. And so, yeah, I mean, there are so many people that have great ideas. And I think that sometimes people think that it's going to cost too much money or it's a super heavy lift or I'll never be able to afford that or I'll never be able to do this or that. But it's definitely attainable for sure. I
Mhm.
mean, I never thought in a million years that we would have a restaurant. I remember writing my thoughts down in a notebook and I wanted to go on Oprah back in the day. And she was helping people start businesses at one point and I had this whole thing, this whole pitch to Oprah. And literally I didn't even have to go on Oprah. I think I just manifested it and it happened about 6 months later, So things are definitely attainable. You just have to have the right mentorship, the right coaching, a direction. And so I'm excited to be mentoring because I've mentored my whole, for the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, my whole career as a teacher. I mentored a lot of new teachers and I've mentored business owners online. And so there's so many great ideas out there. And in Pittsfield, Berkshire County, we need these people. We need these businesses. And so if I can be just a small part of helping those new prospective business owners, that makes me happy.
And honestly, from a community perspective, you only need a few really amazing businesses to hit it in a way. And we're not even talking about a business to be like, oh, we're going to employ 1,000 people. Sometimes businesses can put communities on the map.
Hmm.
It's one of those things, just like having a great baseball park or a baseball team can help put a team, a community on the map, that sort of thing. Sometimes businesses, are so unique and innovative that they can bring that kind of energy. So it takes all different parts to really create something special, and a business can often do that. And Dolores says communication in the community is very big. Communication in the community, whether it's the west side, east side, south side, is all very important, and that is very true. That is very true. So there it is. There
Yeah,
it is.
exciting stuff.
So we covered diamond rings, and I learned something or something that I didn't think about about the holiday.
The
Actually,
gift.
the gift,
Yeah,
the
I
gift.
did know that. I did know that.
Yes. So
Yeah.
so there's so there's a little lesson to the men who are looking, either prenup or
Don't propose on a
or
holiday.
don't propose on a holiday. And then and then if there is a divorce, just make sure you locate that ring
Yeah.
and make sure it doesn't disappear.
Right.
So anyhow, we're joking, half joking.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. So everyone, we'll let you know about some of our prizes for tonight. I didn't know we were giving away some patches,
Yeah, we're
so
definitely giving away patches. So if you're interested, give us a heads up and we'll draw a name for the patches. Nothing, there's nothing that happens. There's like, you may feel something like John and I did. We had more energy. You may not, but they are definitely helping your body. They're
I think
helping to heal
I
your
feel
body.
great. I
Yeah.
feel great.
You know
High
what?
energy.
I did not put the patches on today. I
You didn't.
completely forgot.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. And here you are.
I know. I know.
You still look vibrant.
Thank you.
You still look beautiful. Um, so we love you all, and thanks for tuning in, and thanks for hearing about our vision and what we've been working on. And so, if you have any questions for me, or if you have anyone who you think ought to talk to me or Cara, feel free to send them along either through Facebook or through my website, which is 180media.com, and Cara has balance and bliss wellness.com. So, here we are. We're open books.
Yes.
We are absolutely open books,
Yeah.
and we love you.
Yeah. Have a great night.
Have a great night, everybody.